Sandy says read, and welcome to the channel. You guys, this afternoon we are going to talk about great music to add to your reading playlists, specifically your genre reading playlists. Now, yes, we are going to talk about classics too, but mostly this is going to be genre reading playlists that we're going to talk about today. And I'm going to add like a bunch of these all into one video. I had thought about separating these all out and doing like 9 different videos. I think that would get a little bit obnoxious. Yeah, so we're just going to do one big video of all these different genres and talk about the different songs I would recommend putting on your reading playlists. Yeah, and I have already begun these playlists for us. You guys, I've done all the work ahead of time here. We're ready for things to go. Now hang on, we are going to do just a wee little bit of housekeeping. All right. I want to invite you guys to subscribe to the channel. You guys, if you are not already subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. Please welcome your friends to subscribe to the channel too, because here at the Sandy Says Read BookTube channel, we typically talk about books, bookish stuff. We do BookTube tags, we do book reviews and discussions. We talk about different ways to enjoy books. Today, the way we enjoy our books will be with a little bit of music. Yeah, I know that there are a lot of folks out there who don't typically love to have music playing while they're reading, but I do. So we're gonna add music to the bookish stuff today. Also, you guys, I am not a big channel. I don't have a sponsor for this stuff. I am my own sponsor. So I want to welcome you guys to check out my merch shop. Blah, blah, my merch shop. I will put a link to that in the drop-down box below. Also, I invite you to subscribe to the Sandy Says Read newsletter. That's right. I have a newsletter called Sandy Says Read. It only comes out once a month. There is no spamming of people. Once a month, on the first of the month, you can receive the Sandy Says Read newsletter with all kinds of book news, author event news. There's news about my birds in my newsletter, and there's a column by a dragon. Can't beat that with a stick. Okay, the housekeeping stuff is over. Let's dive into the book and music information today. All right, what I have done, I have put together 9 playlists on my author Sandy Lender Spotify channel. So if you go to Spotify and look for author Sandy Lender, you will find a folder. And in that folder, and what did I name the folder? I named the folder Genre Reading Playlists. And inside that folder are 9 playlists for all of you guys out there to contribute to. I am turning on the contributing feature for all of those playlists so that everybody can add songs to the playlists. All right. And in fact, I have one of them right here that you can look at on the screen. Huge, huge, huge URL. I don't know if YouTube will let you click on that. I will put it in the drop down box below. Yeah, I will put all 9 of these links in the information box below so that you can access all 9 of these playlists. Okay. Because why not? It's fun. It's clever and fun. It should be a good time. A good time will be had by all you guys. I use music for inspiration all day long. Okay. I'm using music when I'm writing. I'm using music when I'm reading. I'm using music when I'm making dinner for myself. I'm using music when I'm making breakfast for the birds. Okay. There's always music happening in this house. It's just a thing. Okay. You may have heard me talk about Squeaky Bird, the little foster bird that came into my life. We think that his people, we think his owner passed away and their family let him go into the wild. And so he came to me as a foster bird. No one has stepped forward to claim him, so he lives with me now. He loves music. Okay. I think that he's a Duran Duran fan. Whenever the song Hungry Like the Wolf comes on, he will chirp along to the beat. He will dance to it. He loves Hungry Like the Wolf. Okay. He loves Tom McDonald. He is a bird that will dance to just about anything. He's a good little bird and he loves music. Birds in my house are constantly being subjected to music. Okay. It's a thing. So I have playlists on Spotify, you know, for myself, for the birds. Miss Mouse, she loves Louis Armstrong. Okay, so I have a playlist with a lot of Louis Armstrong on it. So when Mouse needs some cheering up, I'll put on the Louis Armstrong and she will whistle along. And she loves it. So yeah, music is a big part of my life. So I'm sharing that with you guys today. We've put together some playlists for you guys today. And I'll go ahead and tell you that it took everything in my power not to include on every single one of these playlists Duran Duran and Robert Palmer and Sting and Bowie. I mean, I was trying so hard not to put them on every single one of these lists. Okay, there's a spattering throughout, but I was careful. I reined it in. I didn't put it on every single list. Okay. Another thing I had to be careful with. I mean, there are some songs when you listen to them, they move you just too much, right? Okay, there's I wrote down who did it because Yo-Yo Ma is the cellist, but Catherine Scott, she's the pianist. They did a rendition of The Swan. You guys, that song, I have to be cautious. I have to be in the right frame of mind, because if I'm not in the right frame of mind and I hear that song, I will burst into tears and I will lose all semblance of productivity. I just have to sit down and sob for a little bit and then get over it and get past that. So there are certain songs I could not include on any of these playlists because they're just too emotional. They're too much. All right. Shall we begin? Should we begin with one of these playlists and give you the full understanding of just what it is I'm trying to do here? Okay. What I have for you first is the top 6 songs to add to a sci-fi reading playlist. All right. These are not in any particular order. I just have for you 6 songs, 6 that I think should be on a sci-fi reading playlist. Number 1, or one of them, I Don't Want to Go to Mars by White Lies. 2, I Saved the World Today by the Eurythmics. 3, Storm, the Swan and the Lake remix by Blank & Jones. 4, Sunshine's Better by Blank & Jones and Mick Roach. 5, What If We're Bad Together by White Lies again. And the 6th one, I'm not going to pronounce this correctly, so just forgive me if I screw this up. Soleil Levant sur la Seine by Dave Buttrell and Nigel Kennedy. Okay, now, what I've done is I went to Spotify and I created a playlist and I called it Sci-Fi Reading Playlist for followers of Sandy Says Read. And I abbreviated Sandy Says Read, SSR. So when you're on Spotify and you go to my channel, you will see the playlist, the Sci-Fi Reading Playlist for followers of SSR. When you go in there, you can listen to these 6 songs. You can add what you feel should be on the list of Sci-Fi Reading Playlist. Got it? Good. Okay, the next one. Top 6 songs to add to a mystery reading playlist. Right. First, I have Cry by Godley and Cream. Undefeated Eyes by Fantastic Negrito and Sting. Butterfly Wings by Machines of Loving Grace. Long Cool Woman in a Black Dress by the Hollies. The Chauffeur, but the version by the Sneaker Pimps. Silent Lucidity by Queensryche. And a bonus song on this one is Motherless Child, but the version by Martin Gore. Okay, they're on the playlist. If you go to the author Sandy Linder Spotify channel, you will see that playlist ready for you to listen if you wish, add songs to if you wish, right? The next one, top 6 songs to add to your thriller suspense reading playlist. Okay, and again, these are not in any particular order. First is The Strangest Thing by George Michael. Next, we have Red Right Hand by Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. John the Revelator by Depeche Mode. Trust in Me by Susie and the Banshees. Carnival of Rust by Poets of the Fall. And A Forest by The Cure. And you guys might be wondering, why don't I just play a snippet of these for you guys while we're here instead of saying, hey, go listen to them over on Spotify? Well, I'm not sure which of these songs will give me a copyright strike, which ones won't. I mean, I know anything with Sting involved is going to give us a copyright strike, okay? And then I'll have to take this thing down and yada, yada, yada. I'm not messing with that. I'm not going into that. I don't want to go into that. So I'm just giving you the titles and I'm letting you know that the playlists are available to listen to, okay? And I'm going to put every single one of the playlists in the information box below so that you can just click it. You don't have to go searching to find it. All right. Next up, the top 6 songs to add to a classics reading playlist. Again, these are not in any particular order. Chopin's Nocturne Opera 9, number 2 in E flat major. Right. Then Chopin's F minor Nocturne, number 15. Pompeii by Bastille. Next, Who Will Save You Now by Less Friction. Mozart's Piano Concerto number 27 in B flat major. And then Rainbow Cove by 2002. Our next playlist for you is top 6 songs to add to a poetry reading playlist. I have for you Bring On the Dancing Horses by Echo and the Bunnymen. Will by Yuki Kajura. And now this one, you guys, something has happened and it is not available on Spotify right now. So we're going to have to re-find that and get it back into the playlist, right? The next one, Put Your Arms Around Me by The Hawk in Paris. Fourth one is Palomino by Duran Duran. And there it is. There's the Duran. I just couldn't go without adding Duran to one of these. Next is Angels, the Beethoven AI remix by Robbie Williams. And then finally, The Poet and the Muse by Old Gods of Asgard. That's your poetry beginning. Next up, we have, and here we go, the 8 songs to add to a fantasy reading playlist. These are not in any particular order, but you guys, oh my gosh, the fantasy playlist, I could have probably come up with like 1,000 songs to put on a fantasy playlist. You need to know, I have oodles of fantasy songs in my own personal playlists because I write fantasy, right? The Choices series, I have at least 3 playlists for the Choices series. I've got one for On the World of Unveiled, and that one I think is like 3 hours long. I've got one for the Choices series that is 14 hours long, and then I've got another one. I can't tell you the title of it because it gives away a plot. That one is just a couple hours long, but I've got different fantasy playlists in my Spotify. Yeah, I like to listen to music when I'm writing in my Choices world. Any fantasy that I'm writing, I like to sit down and have, well, you know, now I've got The Scent from the fantasy world. Now, you know, that now that the Scent line is out there in the world, I can sit down and have the scent going. I can have the music going. I can have my map, you know, of the world there. I can just like immerse myself completely in the world, completely, and then type. Yeah. Okay. So the top 8 songs to add to a fantasy reading playlist. Wing by Duran Duran. Hero by David Crosby. Safe by Nico Santos. So Far Gone by Sneaker Pimps and Simone Jones. Come by the Hills. And this one is the 10-minute Rough Doug mix. Oh, yeah, that's the one I put on the playlist. Theme from a Movie That Never Happened by Eric Clapton. Free the Dragon by Schiller. Contemplation Suite 3, Dusk by Julie Cooper with the Oculus Ensemble. And then, of course, I would recommend the Lord of the Rings soundtrack, which I did not put on the playlist, but the entire soundtrack, all 3 movies. Okay, now let's move on to the top 8 songs to add to a romantasy reading playlist. 'Cause, you know, fantasy and romantasy, they are somewhat different, right? A little bit different. Different enough that I thought we should have 2 playlists. All right, so here's the top 8 songs to add to a romantasy reading playlist. Ghost by the Indigo Girls. End of the Game by Sting. Or you could insert, instead of there, you could insert Shape of My Heart by Sting. Either one of those is really good for a romantasy. Song for a Siren by the Jane Austen Argument. As the World Falls Down by David Bowie. Waltz Away Dreaming by Toby Bork and George Michael. Icarus by Catherine Pretty. Slow Dancing in the Dark by Joji. And then we have a bonus on this playlist. We have a bonus is God Save Our Young Blood by Borns and Lana Del Rey. All right, we only have 2 more to go, you guys. We're almost done. Top 8 songs to add to a chicklit reading playlist. All right, these are not in any particular order. The very first one on this list is Me and Mrs. Jones. Now, I think any one of the versions of Me and Mrs. Jones would be perfect for a chicklit reading list. But I went with the one from Michael Bublé just because I just like his delivery of it. Okay. But any one of them would have been great to add to this list. And because I'm giving you guys permission to access the list, you can add any of them that you wish. All right, second one on here is Still Into You by Paramore. One More Year by Tame Impala. The Glass by Foo Fighters. Or as Christopher Walken would say, Foo Fighters. Rest by Alanis Morissette. Nothing's Happening by the Sea by Blanken Jones and Mike Roach. Someone to Watch Over Me by Chris Bodie, the version where Sting is singing. And 6 Words by Elbow. All right, and the last one that I have for you guys, the last one that I've built for us, is the top 10 songs to add to a romance reading plot list. All right, these are not in any particular order. Love Song for a Vampire by Annie Lennox. And now we have 2 here. You can have either Mad About You or Beneath the Desert Moon by Sting. I put both of them on the playlist. And then the next one, you can have either January Stars or Everybody Laughed But You by Sting. And those are actually the same song, just different lyrics. I put them both on the playlist. Next is Our Love by Andrea Hamilton. Next up, you could either have Love of Your Life or Blinding Lights by Jack Savaretti. And I put them both on the playlist. Next is Songbird, the orchestral arrangement with Eva Cassidy. Eva Cassidy and the London Symphony Orchestra. That one, oh my gosh, you guys. That's just a lovely, beautiful, beautiful. In fact, that one, when I first heard that version of Songbird, I immediately put it on one of my choices playlists. And it is Amanda Sharice's theme song. Yeah. Next on the list is To Turn You On by Roxy Music. Or you could use More Than This. And I put them both on the playlist. Right. Love Me Like I Am by For King and Country with Jordan Sparks. Next up is Heaven Help Me by Dean Estes. And then Get You by Daniel Caesar and Kaylee Uchis. I might not be pronouncing her last name right. Uchis. And then there's a bonus in this one, and that is Time in a Bottle by Jim Croce. Right? Isn't that a lovely romance song? And that's it, you guys. Those are the 9 playlists that I created for us. They are already up on Spotify. You can see them now if you wish. You can go there. I will put a link for each one of them in the information box below. So that if you wish, you can go and you can listen to them. You can listen to what's there now. You can add songs to them as you wish. Like if there is a specific song that you think is just perfect for sci-fi reading, put it on there. You know, like songs from the 2001 Space Odyssey. I can put any songs from that on there, but you might think, oh my gosh, Sandy, how could you not? There must be, and you can put some on there. Go for it. Do that. That's why the lists are there for you guys to add to. So you can add in your thoughts, add in your music, add in things that you think should be there. This is the beginning. This is the start. That's why I call it, how do I phrase it? You guys, hold on. Top 8 songs to add to a chicklit reading playlist. Okay, these are the songs to add to a playlist. I just sort of started it. I want you guys to add things in. This will be the Sandy Says Read playlist curating spot. Have fun with it, okay? It's up to you guys. You guys are the community. Play with it, have fun with it, do what you want to do. And then when you're reading books, you can have the playlists playing in the background. Enjoy. Have fun with it. You guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Thumbs up for good music, fun music, music that gets us through the day and helps us reading our books.